Hi. How are you all doing? After my tangent, I went through the other day, I'm gonna put on makeup. I hope you don't mind while I do this video. But yeah, I had made a phone call today because I think it's important that as survivors of this stuff, when you get to that point where you don't want to stay in this shit no more and you're ready to move on with life, my finances are screwed right now. Screwed. There's so much stuff I have to do, but I need to find a job. I haven't worked since I lost my job at the county. I've been stuck to my bed with depression from this narcissistic shit. And my hair's so thin now. And by the way, who all can relate to that? Hair thinning. Here are some of the signs. So you all know you're not crazy. If you have thyroid problems or never had your thyroid checked, that's a tall tale sign of narcissistic abuse. I suggest to get your TS levels, TS3, 4, TSH levels, get them checked. Have a full panel done. Because a lot of times when you're in that fight or flight mode, like where you're paranoid or you're highly suspicious and you don't know if you're going crazy, like you're like teetering on, should I go to the freaking mental hospital? Like I'm feeling all this stuff or I'm sensing that something's very wrong. And then the narcissist starts acting nice. And then so that kind of calms it. And then something happens and it goes, shoots. You're on a constant roller coaster of emotion. And that's not healthy for your body. You know, and sometimes and it's even worse if it runs in your family too. What happened to me when I was dealing with not this current narcissist, but the one before that, isolated me from my family. It was kind of my choice to move with him. And it was a good choice because I ended up, well, it wasn't a good choice to live with him. But to get out of my house in this area and to finish my schooling, you know, I moved to a different county, which is about an hour away from my parents and from my rentals and from my home. And the only bonus with that guy that I was with, I mean, he cheated all the time. He was on dating sites. He was freaking going to strip clubs all the time. Made me feel about that freaking big. Messaging his ex-girlfriends, trying to get them to meet up with him. It was just ridiculous. And I stayed with him for 5 years. Partially because of financial reasons while I was in school. Well, he's been gone a year and a half and my finances are screwed, but it's better than being with him. Let him go emotionally abuse someone else. I know what it is. Either way, during that cycle with him, it was constantly up and down. That guy changed my perception of me within 3 months. I didn't even know who I was anymore. I didn't know if I was coming or going. I didn't. Tried to commit suicide. Had me so upset. I did something dumb and I took a bunch of pills. Because he basically just pushed me to it. And then basically called my bluff and said I wouldn't do. Don't ever call my bluff. He knew what he was doing. He tried to kill me. And then he called the ambulance when I'm laying there almost dead on the couch. He saw my shallow breathing. And his excuse for calling the ambulance to help me, he didn't want to wake up and me be dead on the couch and him have to answer for it. Or get it and come back on him. Because there was already stuff at the police station from one night when him and I got into a physical altercation. And I came down and showed my friend at the time all the bruises all over my body, and her sister was there, and she took me to the hospital. They had me drive up to the Williamsport police station to get my pictures taken. So he already knew that he had I didn't press charges, and I could have. I didn't. But it was on record, and he knows that. So he never laid a hand on me after that. But he emotionally and psychologically screwed me up. And the fact that his mother thinks it's just addiction, he lives with his mama now. Good luck. Now you'll see what I'm talking about. That's why he's 36 and going to be living in his mom's house. He destroyed his life by his choice. Another thing, he would talk shit about God and Jesus all the time and try and cause me to not have faith in the things that I know, that I saw and I witnessed with my own faith. Guess what? You can't take experience with the Holy Ghost and your conversion, and you watch him do loving, kind, caring, healing things to people who don't even deserve it, but because he's love. Yeah, I want to talk about moving on. I ended up calling kind of looking to see which way I need to move forward. With this thing. Because there's lots of people on YouTube talking about it, but you want to know what? I just called Women in Transition, which is a shelter for people who are abused, and asked them if I could reach out to talk to somebody. And it's not necessarily for me. I mean, I'll find the healing within helping other people. But I want awareness at this point of what's going on. Women in Transition in Pennsylvania is, they help a lot of victims who have been human trafficked, so they understand Stockholm Syndrome. However, when I talked to the girl on the phone, and I explained my position, and I told her about being emotionally and psychologically abused, she had no clue what MPD is. That's why I told you guys, we have to be the front runners of this thing. He didn't allow us to go through this for nothing. We have to step out of our comfort zone right now. You get your healing done, and then it's time to help people. You're qualified because you've gone through it. Whether it's being a coach, or whether it's working with these people in group settings, or just talking to people and loving on people and enlightening the staff of these organizations who are helping people who have been abused know what this is. They don't know. Maybe some of them do. But I haven't found any yet. And I worked in local government in behavioral health. They had no fucking clue. None. They don't know what CPTSD is. They know what post-traumatic stress disorder is because they have Veterans Affairs there, which is a joke and a racket in itself too. Them poor veterans, they're being treated in with behavioral health departments, and they're linking these departments together. So they're extra monetized, or I mean extra ingrained in the system. Someone who has been emotionally and psychologically tortured over and over and over with these cycles, they don't understand the trauma and the bonding and the gaslighting and the idealization, the love bombing. They don't understand it. They would probably understand the word psychopath. That's pretty well throughout society. But they think a psychopath is someone who's going to kill somebody. They don't look. They've probably heard of sociopath. I've heard of that before I've heard of narcissist. But it all falls under the cluster B narcissist spectrum. And when our agencies that are supposed to be reaching out and helping people, they help them on a physical, and they want to get them the help that they need, but they need somebody who understands these cycles. And what better? Thank God, this is probably why God got me through college. However, I'm not a social work master's degree, and I thought about going for it, but maybe if I get a job doing this, then. But I'm qualified because I've gone through it my whole frickin' life. I know what it looks like. I know what the cycles are. I know what it does to people. I know the symptoms of complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I know how it feels. And so does a lot of people on YouTube. It's time to rise up, folks. And move out of just talking on YouTube. It's time to move into our local communities and start helping these victims who are in these behavioral health departments. I'm telling you, I worked in behavioral health. A lot of the people have been abused in childhood, and you usually, if you're an empath, you can discern if they're capable of getting better. I'm not saying go work in a local government because you'll get shut down. You will. Most of the people there, they want to keep that caseload high. They don't want people getting better. They want to keep people in access. They don't want people getting jobs. They want people to fall flat on them faces and be the continuing freaking rotating door. Either that, the only other thing I can think of, excuse me, I had to have a few tears here. The other thing that I can think of is they're just ignorant to it. And they don't get it. When I had my interview, I told the panel of 5 who interviewed me for this job as a county case manager, I told them my main goal was to help people. My main goal was to give people emotional support and advocate for them. I'm an empath, so that's what I do. I advocate for the lowest of low because I've been there. I understand it. And I love with all my heart people who have gone through hell and society has cast out, because guess what? They got issues because they've been dealing with abuse. How dare they? How dare they? And a lot of people will even piggyback that abuse with substance abuse to cover it up. They end up starting to drink all the time, or they turn to alcohol and or drugs. So do narcissists. So you got to be able to pick apart and discern the two. Well, I'm pretty good at that. I can see a cycle. And guess what? If you're addicted to shit, that's not a cycle of abuse. When people are on a substance or they're coming down, expect to be lashed out on. That's not the cycle I'm talking about. There is a specific cycle of abuse with emotional and psychological abuse that you go through. You go through love bombing. They're predators. They will come in, they see you have a good heart and that you have joy and love, and they can't get that. They can't make that within themselves. However, it feels good. And they look at you like, I want what they got. One of the things Kim Wilson said last night, and I loved it because I watched her one video on envy, the spirit of envy, and it makes sense with the spirit of Beelzebub. However, I think spite's attached to it too. Just add a little to it. Kim Wilson is 100% right. This is a spiritual battle. And people turn to substances, whether you're an empath or you're a narcissist. That's throughout society. But the love bombing, they're in predator mode because they see something in you that they want. They see that good thing in you that's like, oh. Or they feel your love and compassion for humans. And they're like, oh, okay. This is, yeah, good prey. Let me see if I can suck their soul out of them so they no longer have that capacity. Good luck with an empath. Good luck. No, you want to know what with an empath? And then someone who has I'm not saying compassion or sympathy. I'm saying a true empath. We can see right through the facade. We usually can pick out this cycle their first time around, but then they start the gaslighting. And because we want to believe the best in people, we allow it to happen to us over and over again. And it has the same effect on an empath as it would anyone else, because we start to get disillusioned by what they do. It's almost like a hypnosis. The longer you're around these people, the more hypnotized they make you. I found it very interesting with this last one that he would always complain that he likes his space. He wants his space. He doesn't like to be around people all the time. But during the love bombing stage, he couldn't get enough of me for 2 weeks. I was pretty much at his house the whole time, on and off. Maybe take a day or two off here. I was there all the time. And if I wasn't there, he was texting me. Guess what happened? We got into an argument one night because I asked him not to do something that I consider disrespectful that my exes used to do. And guess what he did? And he sat back and watched me get triggered. And then he acted like a little bitch and sat on the couch and said, well, if you don't like it, this isn't going to work, I guess. Blah, 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 blah. So I left. Well, guess what? I was hoovered within 8 hours the next day. He didn't expect me to leave. He didn't expect me to leave. However, hoovered back. I let it happen. And then guess what? He started devaluing me again. Had some female come staying at his house for almost 2 weeks, using the excuse she got evacuated from Florida and she was a friend of his. She had clothes, furniture, everything at his house. And he refused to see me or talk to me. Said he didn't. It was too stressful. He had some bitch staying up in his friggin' house. And he wouldn't even see me. Right there, I should have walked. But I didn't. I wasn't listening to my gut. Because it was like I was love bombed hard for 2 weeks. And he had said things and promised things. And that's what's going on in your mind. All this shit that they threw out there and said that was lies. Lies. Because they planned your discard from the time they set eyes on you. However, they didn't expect that a discard would actually hold. And guess who holds the final key to the discard? You do. And you know how you do that? They won't exactly what I'm doing and putting it out there, what happened to me. If he comes on, he knows all these videos are pretty much about him. Even though there's other ones even before him. I got a lot to talk about with the other ones too. Especially the one right before him. Either way, I'm ready to move forward. I would love to be able to just have a at-home based business with doing my tarot and doing my stuff on narcissism, writing books. I wish I had the money to be able to do that. But I need to get my finances in order. So, I have a donate button on my channel, and guess what? I put out a lot of time. I have over 120 videos. That's it. And I don't know why my stuff hasn't been getting pushed through, but everybody else's does. I mean, you only get 6 views in 24 hours on a... Come on. I'm going to have to pump video after video after video. That's what I'm going to have to do. Sometimes I just don't have the time for that because I have so much stuff on my plate. Well, this is going to be another thing I'm going to have on my plate. I need to get a job. And if I get a job, I want to start training people on what to look for with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, I don't have a master's degree. I want to start training and showing illustrations of what people have gone through and take it to these places like Women in Transition and the Center for Women and Children Who Are Abused. This needs to go widespread, people. We can't keep it within our own little community anymore. We need to spread awareness. This is how we fight this thing. Sure, we are making videos on YouTube. We're doing conferences. That's basically like church. Sorry, this is widespread throughout society, and we need to nip it in the butt, because you want to know what? You've gone through bullshit. I've gone through bullshit, and it's horrendous, and it messes people up, and there's people who don't understand how to come out the other side of it and begin the process of healing. No. Want to know what they do? They get out of their relationship. They're feeling so broken. Guess what? They find another one, another abuser, just like the past one, if not worse. They don't break the cycle. This is about breaking the cycle. We must break the cycle and move forward together in unison. We are so much stronger together than what we are apart, people. We are. And I beg you that if you have any, I'm sorry, hold on a minute. I beg you, close, come on, thank you. I beg you that if you have had this happen and you are a victim, you're not going through this for no reason. This is a spiritual wake-up call to the people who God have chosen to nip this thing in the ass. I've said it in other videos. I plan on going to DC with this. I do. It's working over in the UK for getting laws passed. It's acknowledged in the DSM-5 now. We need to make awareness about what abuse does to people. And the more people that come out and tell their story, you're not going to get the help you need. I'm telling you right now. Absolutely. If you're suicidal, get your ass to the hospital. Don't expect to get the proper help you need, though. Yep, they'll keep an eye on you. Yep, they're going to douse you with medication. And then they're going to probably tell you you're bipolar with post-traumatic stress disorder. That's the main diagnosis for victims, because we go through spouts of anger and rage for what happened to us, because it's hard to process all these informations, and we have triggers that are in us that if a person even says the wrong thing or comes at you wrong, like we've been through this where we've been gaslighted and we've been projected on by people in society, whether it be at work, at church, in your family, or in personal relationships. And those triggers don't just go away. And some people think, oh, well, that's bipolar. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's called complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And you're not crazy. You know, you feel like you're crazy. It's debilitating. And people don't understand how debilitating it is. I haven't had any income. Because my ex and I, because he has me over a barrel financially, still, and he's my ex-husband, because we own houses together. I have a few rentals. I couldn't even do anything with them. I was stuck in my house for all summer, and it was, I'm going to look back at this time and be like, that was the most important summer of my life. That summer changed me. Because it caused me to heal. And it caused me to put a fire down in my belly where I'm like, I'll be damned if I ever go back to any kind of situation like that. And or not give awareness to other people. This thing needs to go across the board. It needs to go worldwide, United States wide. The government needs to understand this about victims. They understand post-traumatic stress disorder with people who are victims in war and the mind tricks that POWs have undergone. Well, guess what? We've gone through, victims of abuse have gone through the same type of mindfuckery. And excuse me, I know I swear sometimes. I'm just angry now. Because I call these places and I would think a trauma center would understand about emotional and psychological abuse who are helping victims. They still look at abuse as only physical. Well, guess what? They need to start, and there's books all over it. There's stuff all over YouTube. How are they missing it? How? We need to start a revolution, people. I'm begging you to please stand up and take your rightful place alongside of other survivors. Because this shit needs to go public. What we've gone through. I'm over it. I honestly have like no want to, as far as ever even dating at this point. I don't. This is about my career and helping people at this point. I'm going to start writing my book. And I'm going to start doing what's right. I mean, I had to take the time and heal myself. Now it's time to start writing my book and getting busy. And I've been getting busy. And I want to thank everybody, every other coach, and every other person on YouTube. Quinn, Kim, Sarah Speaks, all of you for coming forth with your stories. Melanie Tanya Evans, she's another one. Her work, like, I took a class and I never got the certificate because I got fired from my job because I was dealing with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I was dealing with a lot of shit at the time. And I was dealing with stuff with a current freaking narcissist. And not to mention, my boss was one. So I lost my job because I was doing the right thing. They made up all kinds of excuses about me, which were lies. All of it was lies. But it's because I have a passion in my heart and a rage against this machine. And I call them out on their shit about wanting to keep people sick. I saw their freaking motive. The local government, they want to keep you in the system so that they have a steady paycheck. That's all they care about. They don't care about if you get better. They don't want you to get better. They hope that you stay on these medications, which are known to be extremely harmful to your body. Mood stabilizers, I get that they help for a time, but they stop working. And then they either up your dose or put you on a different one. And then you become like a zombie. And then you can't think and function right. And then they put you on disability and get you locked in the system, which is perfect for them. Because then they're basically, hey, baby, I'm going to show you something. I have this beautiful black kitten that needs a home. Isn't he pretty? Oh, it's okay. Well, actually, it's a she, but, yeah. Like I said, I've been through all this. That's why I become so sensitive to energies. That's why I do a different way of what most people would with What? It's okay. Hey, you. Molly. Yeah, I'm a cat lady. I'm a cat lady. I love cats. They're the most spiritual animal. They're the most spiritual animal. You can look it up. Anytime I go in my room and I'm doing readings, they come in because they know the angels are there. I did a personal reading for someone yesterday, and he started to cry because I uncovered something, and I knew I'm not going to go into it because it's a personal, private thing. But he was thrilled with the fact that I'm not a phony. I hear God. God wants me to give messages to people. And one of the things that's so frustrating for me is because I want to take my community of people and raise them up and go beyond me in their abilities and gifts. Hey, stop it. Hold on 1 second. Hey, what are you doing? Yeah, walk away. Scratching my stuff up. Little brat. It's like I get rid of her. But, yeah, I want to raise people up. I can't do this alone. We need a coalition of people. And at one point, I'd like to do a march on D.C. and take these. I want letters written to me about what had happened so that I can take them. So that I can take them before Congress and say, this is the face of emotional and psychological abuse. It's rampant. And it's not even freaking recognized. You are so wrong. Hold on 1 second. Playing with a bag. It's rampant. And it's not even recognized. We need to get this thing recognized for what it is. So that, guess what? Criminal justice reform happens. That the right people are locked up. And the good people in society, either that or they need intensive therapy to be able to not abuse. I don't see how that's going to happen, but something needs done. I've come across so many. They have our freaking prisons full of people who sold or smoked pot. This? Abuse? Really? People are allowed to psychologically and emotionally abuse you. But they can't lay a finger on you. They can ruin somebody's life. Cause their hair to fall out, cause their teeth to crack, cause all kinds of shit, cause someone to lose weight, gain weight, have their pituitary, have their freaking whole central nervous system shut down. That's some bullshit right there. It's psychological and it's spiritual and it's an attack and it's warfare. So guess who's on the front lines? We are. Yes, we are. I'm not standing for it anymore. It's time that we get our ducks in a row, people, and we start educating these organizations with the knowledge of emotional and psychological abuse. However, I'm sure some of them have narcissists in them that run them. So we have to be very careful. Okay? This is a call to moving forward, man. I'm ready. It's just, I need a plan. That's the thing about me, with me being an Aries. I'm ready to move full force straight on, but get that plan together. It's like, I at least tried to start something today. I'm looking at getting into helping, or at least talking to somebody about a possible position when it comes to emotional and psychological abuse and what has happened to people. The Stockholm Syndrome, they understand that. But they don't, I don't think they understand the ramifications when someone's like emotionally and psychologically manipulated. That also creates a trauma bond. So this stuff needs to come forward. And we need to take this thing local, state, and federally to the government and demand. And if we have to, take it to the frickin' Supreme Court and demand justice for any other people who come up with this disorder. We owe this to our children, and we owe this to the next generation. I'm done shutting up. I'm done shutting up. I even tried to talk to some of my family members over the weekend about some of the things that I went through, and they really don't understand. I don't think they really understand to the magnitude of what I'm talking about. I mean, my aunt's been married, all my aunts, my cousins, their marriages all kind of lasted. So, I'm sure that they have encountered narcissists in their life, though. This fires me up. So, I'm going to get on and start writing. I'm going to write my book. I'm going to start writing a book. And I am hoping that I get a call back from Transitions. Because I'm hoping that I'll be able to talk to somebody about what happened to me. And what my goal is now. Hopefully I'll talk to someone with some discernment who understand this. So I'm going to have to put it on a very elementary level and kind of be able to tie things in that they do understand. Like I know they understand the Stockholm Syndrome. And I know that they're really dipping into the human trafficking stuff, which is awesome. It's about time. And victims in that aspect who've been sexually abused. I want to start digging into the emotional and psychological shit. I told the woman, I have degrees. I have a degree in sociology, and I have a degree in criminal justice. But what makes me more qualified is the fact I've gone through this. And I understand the symptoms, and I know what to look for. And it's a process getting over it and getting through it. And the type of people who victims need in their life are someone who understands so they don't feel alone. That's the biggest thing, is the isolation. Because we feel like nobody understands what we're going through. Because really not too many people do. Even though, and there's books. I mean, my God, there's books out on this stuff. There's books everywhere. There's YouTube videos. How these people aren't diving into this disorder is beyond me. I don't understand it, how people haven't heard of it. I guess you'd have to use the old term megalomania. Then maybe they'd understand it. And that they might not even understand, because I heard of narcissistic personality disorder before I heard of megalomania. It's not very talked about. You know why? Because a lot of people in upper echelon positions evil has allowed them to ascend there. Because the church hasn't been properly discerning the times. Sound the trumpet, people. We're in a spiritual battle, and it's about souls. How are you going to fight this thing? I know what I'm going to do, and I don't care if I have to stand before people, if I have to stand before a firing line. Till my last breath, I'll help people. I'm done allowing people to walk all over me anymore. Doesn't mean I'm not going to love, because that's not a part of who I am. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to try and understand the situation. However, when it comes to if people owe me money, or if people, I have over $13,000 people owe me from my rentals that they just stiffed me out of because they took advantage of the fact I wasn't feeling well. Well, guess what? Yeah, it's about time to take them to court. Not that I'm going to get it. I don't even have enough money to pay all my bills. I have to refinance this damn mortgage so I can have a lower payment. For 30 years, I had it down to 7. We want to talk about, let's start, I've never asked for help. I couldn't get unemployment during this. I couldn't get freaking Social Security, even though I've been diagnosed with hypothyroidism, which is a life state. I have a pituitary brain tumor as a result. I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder, terrible anxiety, insomnia, hellish nightmares. Well, that's kind of subsided now because I've been doing the healing. I couldn't get no fucking help. That's wrong. And I lost my job as a result of being a victim of narcissistic abuse. Well, I'm choosing to not let that happen ever again. And I'm choosing to stand up for myself now. I might have backed down for a little bit, but guess what? It's exposure time, bitches. All of you who are narcissists in my life, who have hurt me, coming in the forefront. Writing books about you. You'll be a celebrity. I'll make you famous. Whether it was in work, church, or interpersonal relationships. Yep. My life story, I'm putting it out there. So, I get it. When you're enlightened to this, God says, okay, it's time to heal. It's going to take a while. I'm trusting God to support me. I'm trusting God to lead the way. Lead the charge. Because I want to go head on after this thing. I get it. It's a battle of good and evil. But guess who wins? Guess who wins? It ain't the enemy. Either way, yeah, I really probably should start, I'm losing subscribers because there's people who don't like the fact that I read tarot. I don't give a flying rip. You take that up with God. You pray to God about it. You told me to. I'm listening. My senses are at a nighttime high. Yeah. So, either way, this video is 50 minutes long, like usual my videos are. I don't have just little, yeah, let's talk about projection. I mean, I tried to do that, but yeah. No, this is a movement, people. And we need to be on the front lines. Get on the front lines. Enough. Sitting in our houses, binge watching YouTube about what we've gone through and have pity parties. It's time to get off your ass and start doing something about it. Whether it's you writing down your story, I know many of you have journaled. I've kept journals. I kept specific. I really didn't keep journals over the whole thing. But I've kept specific stuff from the cycle of this last one because, yeah, I knew what he was. And I wanted to watch, see exactly how he played this thing. He was a rat in a cage. Because I knew, I had a feeling that there was something bigger going on. And there is. It's huge. And it's widespread. And it needs to come to the forefront so people can start getting better and healed. And guess what we're called to do as people in this community? Help people get healed, not stay in it. Not stay in it. Be happy and get their joy back. And know they've won. They've overcome. And this shit that has happened to them ultimately was a blessing in disguise. The only way these narcissists, and I've said it in a few things, the only way these narcissists can get healed, if they can get healed, I read in the Bible, a Bible story. Oh yeah. About Saul. Who later turned into Paul. He was going around persecuting Christians. Going around persecuting them, killing them. Like nothing. Well, guess what happened on his road to Damascus? Yeah, he got a blinding light right in front of him. Boom, knocked off his high frickin' horse. And he heard the voice of the Lord say, you go to so-and-so's house, which I can't think of who it is at the moment. And he did that because he was blind. If he would have never did that, guess what? He would have stayed blind. You go to so-and-so's house and you hear what he has to say. And guess what? The scales fell off his eyes when he followed direction. That's what these narcs, they have scales on their eyes. It's a Saul to Paul conversion if they can even get better. It's getting the demons out of them so they can see what they're doing. Because they can't at this point. They don't see what they're doing. They know something's really wrong and that they're different and that they can't help it. But if that's my story. If I feel like they can get healed, it has to be boom, divine. You nor me can't do shit. We can help victims though. We can help other people so that they cut these suckers off. Like I said, as far as a narcissist goes, they have to humble themselves. Sometimes God will just knock you off your high friggin' horse. And he had a purpose for Saul, who turned into Paul, the Apostle Paul. So I believe it can happen. I know the power of God. I know the glory of God. He had a miraculous conversion right there. He saw the face of Jesus. In Acts, the book of Acts. Guess what, people? We use the Gospels, the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, as a blueprint of how Jesus did things. Acts is the church and the people who the Holy Spirit or Spirit commissions. You will know them by their love. Greater works will you do than me, said Jesus Christ. You're the little anointed ones. And unfortunately, this is in the church too, which is why I'm not allowed to be in any church body. And it sucks. But, oh well. Like I said, God has me doing other things. Then the church will probably like, that's how I know some of you were like that. Whatever. I love Jesus. I can go sit in my car, in my garage. Doesn't make me a car. You can go to church every Sunday, Wednesday night, women's groups, whatever. Doesn't make you a Christian. Even though you think you love Jesus, what is your fruit? It better be to help the downtrodden and the lowest of low, and not just look, I'm a Christian. What are you doing for the kingdom? Do. Sounding the trumpet, people. I'm loving on people. Whether it's my way of being able to love on people for the 3 months I was freaking healing was through YouTube. That was an outlet for me. Now it's time to step out there again. And start enlightening people to narcissistic abuse. Start writing my book. I'm going to have a lot of books, right? But, yeah. And I want to invite you all on this journey of awareness now. Oh, yeah, they're narcissistic abuse aware. What are you doing? Are you marching about it? Are you writing your congressman? Are you writing your local government about what happened to you? Well, guess what? I'm going to do that. I'm writing to county commissioners about exactly what happened to me. Oh, yeah. And I'm telling them exactly what my bosses did to me. And I'm hoping they get canned. I didn't know if I should get a lawyer, but I very well might. Because what they did to me was even more abusive. A week before I got canned, I went and told my boss, I'm so thankful I have my job. Because you want to know what? It's the only thing that's keeping me from not losing my shit. And she fired me a week later. They wanted me to lose my shit. And I'm going to tell them that too. I'll take lie detector tests. And you want to know what? They treated me like trash. Because I figured them out. They'll take you out if you figure them out. If you're working with them. You come up against a narcissist, and you're the only one, and you're the low man on the totem pole, chop. Well, guess what? Not anymore. It is coming out. I have text messages about the workplace bullying in that place. They were sued before for it. And guess what? They're the reason I really went into the depression part. I mean, I lost my job and I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I go and I expend all this energy on these people. People were calling in to get on my caseload because they knew I cared about their situation. They knew I understood them. Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. Unless there is a call, it's usually a complaint about a case manager, not asking to get put on their caseload. There is a lot of jealousy in there. You know. Either way, yeah. Guess what? This video is now over an hour long. Now, one certain person got on here. You're ridiculous. Because this is the deep stuff. This is the call to freaking getting better and not staying bitter. We're not called to stay bitter, people. We're called to heal and move forward. I understand it takes time, and we're here for that. We're here for that. It takes time. But trust. If you keep on ruminating about this thing and you keep on only feeling sorry for yourself, you're aware now. Yes, you do need to go through the grieving process. I understand that. I have compassion. I know where you are. But I'm begging you, don't stay in it. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. Either way, I love you guys. Let's move forward into victory. I'm starting my own thing. I would love to be able to just have a group of local people come to my house. You know, and be able to. My whole reason for going to school was for counseling. However, I need a master's degree for counseling. And I already owe so much in school loans that I'm in default. I'm telling you, this fucked my life up. And nobody gave a shit. Nobody. So now I have to pick myself back up and figure this shit out myself. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I don't know if I should get a lawyer because I'm highly considering it. The stuff I was accused of is bullshit. They didn't like it that I caught on to them. They didn't. They didn't like it. I had a different perspective than they did. I'm not a carbon copy. I'm not there to please them or make them look good. Sorry. I was there to help my people. Facts. I'm telling you, I had freaking case managers because I was training. I had case managers who've been there for 2-3 years that were scared to go out on a crisis call. I'm telling you, they'd get on a crisis and they'd be like scared to go and talk to somebody who's in the middle of a crisis, who's in the middle of a breakdown, who's angry and upset because their medicine's not working, or they haven't been taking their medicine because it doesn't work. So they end up back in hospital. Or they'll call into the office, why isn't my medication? I don't understand this. I understand. Medication doesn't fix everything. And they know it. Either way, I had the fastest 201 in record time. We had somebody from going to 20 miles that way over to the hospital, had her 201 in 20 minutes, and out the door we went. Fastest 201 ever, because you want to know what? I put it in great terms that I understood where she was coming from. I've been there. Get your head in order. Get back on your medication. See what works. And if it doesn't work, we'll figure something else out. Maybe you should go to trauma therapy. Guess what? They don't do trauma therapy in there. Oh, you want to take your people to trauma therapy? You can't do that. You could take them to the psychiatrist. You could take them to the gynecologist. You could take them to a cancer treatment. You could take them to get a mammogram. You could take them to the PCP. You could take them to the pharmacy. You could take them to the freaking hoo-ha doctor. You could take them to the friggin' grocery store. But don't take them to trauma therapy. You'll lose your job if you do. That's what happened to me. And yes, I'm going public with it now. They don't want people getting better. Well, we never done that. I get it. You want me to take them to the psychiatrist and get them on their medication. And yeah. Yeah. I get it. You have been scoping me out since I've been figuring out what works, because it was working for me. So you canned me and put me in a financial fucking bind. Well, guess what? I figured you out. And I just might call a lawyer. I'll take down the whole fucking county. I don't care. That's where I'm at right now. Because it was bullshit. It's called exposure time, people. Either way, I love you. Sorry I had to go off on that little tangent there, but I figured I'd let you know what happened to me at my job when I found out people who were abused and who wanted to go to trauma therapy. They were asking me about it. And I had to say I wasn't allowed to take them there. And they didn't understand. And then they fired me for it. Called me divisive. Yeah, divisive. This is like a Lifetime freaking movie. Who does that? You figure out something that works. And they deny the people the help they need. Guess what? I'm calling the state general attorney's office. I'll write the fucking president a letter about what happened to me. I'll get a fucking lawyer. I'll bring that whole damn department down. They've already been freaking sued for bullying. And I have the text messages from a fellow coworker to prove it. So, yeah. I'm kind of at a loss of whether or not I want to go to the county commissioner and explain to her, because then they might want to get a defense team for them. I don't trust anybody now. I want to make sure I get what's due to me. They didn't even pay me the sick time or frickin' vacation that I earned. Exactly 5 months I was there to the day, and then they fired me. Told my people, oh, well, they're acting like I quit. They lied to them. I didn't quit. They fucking fired me. Because I figured out what helps people. I wanted to get them the talk therapy and drama therapy they need. And it was like, we don't take them there. Whatever. Well, shit happens. So, this county's corrupt, which is the other reason I'm kind of like, what do I do? I've already been screwed out of a lawsuit from freaking car accident I was in because they paid my lawyer off. The other person's insurance company paid my lawyer off to fuck me over. And how I know they paid him off? Because he said, oh, don't worry. He put a lot of time into my case. Well, sort of. Took 6-7 years to freaking even, they took it to court. And then my lawyer said, don't worry, I'm not even going to bill you for my charges. That tells me you got paid off. Yep. Had me run around like a, with bullshit. And they wouldn't even put my kids on the stand. Because they didn't want no sympathy for me. Made the decision not to let my kids testify about the trauma they experienced in that car accident. Because they wanted to win. Well, guess what? That lawyer who paid off my lawyer lives in Northumberland County and is married to one of the county commissioners. So, it's kind of like a lose-lose battle. That's why I get a defense team from Philly or somewhere else. Either way, I gotta get going. I got shit to do. But I wanted to make a video today about moving forward. Moving forward together. Getting that gumption and getting that joy and fire back. Putting it to good use. Even though I got a lot of shit to still work through. Obviously, I'm still angry about stuff. But you know what? What's meant for me will be. And ain't no devil in hell can come against that. They can try. They won't succeed. You guys take care. I love you. See you later. Bye.